February 21st, 1991. Dear Diary, this is finally it. Our battalion has at last received its orders. We are to advance into Iraq. Although I hold the rank of captain and command an entire company of our most advanced tanks, this will be my first taste of combat, along with my men. The air is electric. The sound of beating hearts is now loudest of all. Our battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Michael, believes that we'll be facing at least an entire tank regiment. No doubt Saddam's feared Republican Guard. They will likely outnumber us by at least 5 to 1 in armor alone. No matter. We'll crush them here, I'm sure of it. Our men are better trained, better equipped, and led by more competent officers. As we prepare to move out, I can't help but think about how much combat there's been in the past 45 years. Ever since the end of World War II, there have been battlefields, and West Point has taught me plenty about them too. The Cold War hotspots that our nation has fought in, like Vietnam and Korea. The fierce wars that Israel has had to deal with every decade since its independence. The brutal conflicts in former colonial Africa, like the Bush Wars and the Nigerian Civil War. Hell, we even learned about conflicts in South America, most famous of which was of course the Falklands War, fought between Argentina and Great Britain. Aside from historical conflicts, we also studied what-if scenarios, typically for a war against the Russians. It was hoped that this might prepare us for a Third World War if it were to ever come. I don't know about that though, but I expect plenty of more fighting before things get sorted out. The tanks in my command begin to move. The plan is to perform a pincer movement. A platoon of tanks will attack the enemy on both of his flanks. This will hopefully allow us to hit them where their armor is thinner, while keeping us from exposing our vulnerable sides. It is not a plan without risk, however, because the enemy outnumbers us, and they may try to overrun one of our platoons. Shots ring out! The enemy has deployed artillery on the dune in front of us. They're firing their machine guns at our helicopters, but they miss, and soon our tanks open up on them. The artillery is destroyed, and the burning hulks illuminate the area around them. Even in daylight, it can affect our visibility, for better or worse. As we continue to advance, infantrymen are soon spotted in front of us. Our helicopters and Bradleys go to work, firing into their ranks and causing chaos. Some of the men attempt to flee in the frenzy. Meanwhile, one of our new UAVs flies overhead. It spots ammo depots on the crest of the hill. These are promptly fired upon, and a massive explosion erupts from one of them. We advance into the shadow of the ridge. Its mighty height conceals us from the enemy, and they from us. I worry about what may be on the other side and where. However, word from Battalion HQ comes in. Our artillery has fired smoke rounds to cover our advance over the ridge. This will give us several key minutes to lay waste to the enemy before he can respond. Our tanks have the good fortune of being equipped with thermal optics, allowing us to see through the smoke, something that can't be said for Saddam's T-55s and T-72s. Beyond the hill, we find the enemy unprepared and unable to attack us from the smoke. It's nothing short of a shooting gallery. Tank after tank is destroyed by our guns. Our helicopters are also starting to fly at higher altitudes as well, allowing them to fire on enemy tanks that are hidden from us. The enemy lines have shattered. Enemy reinforcements keep coming in, but it is of no avail, as our tanks soon lay waste to them as well. The battle is over in less than half an hour. We've destroyed no less than 42 tanks, my personal tank destroying 6. We've suffered no casualties. As the dust settles, I take stock at how well things went. I could say that while our training was more than capable of providing good soldiers and officers, it could be pretty difficult to follow. It is amazing how much reading is required just to understand the basics of tactics and warfare. That said, everyone here is committed to the task and is more than willing to read a little to get things done. With the battle now over, I radio HQ for more orders and wait. Who knows? Maybe I'll soon have something more to write about.